Introducing On the Horizon, a podcast by Horizon Resources Cooperative, supporting farmers and ranchers across northwest North Dakota and northeast Montana. Join host Levi Hall as he engages with agronomy experts, grain traders, and community leaders, sharing insights to help you make confident, informed decisions for your operations. From market trends to practical advice, we bring you the conversations that matter.
Horizon Resources, solutions for your success.
Welcome back to another episode of On the Horizon. This week, we have a reoccurrence of one of our most popular episodes from last year, and with good reason. This year, we bring back the 4-H episode, and we have a handful of our 4-Hers from Williams and McKenzie County. This year, we're going to start out with our McKenzie County 4-Hers. We have Gwen Signalness and Gavyn Darrington. They're going to kick off the episode. Then we're going to cut to Ryan Odenbach, our extension agent down in McKenzie County. They're going to talk about the McKenzie County Fair coming up next week. And then we go right into the trio of Ferguson girls. We have Abagail, Harper, and Audrey Ferguson. They're going to talk about their projects. And then we cut to Bailey Hokanson and Kelly Leo. They wrap it up and talk about the Upper Missouri Valley Fair coming up in 2 weeks up here in Williston, North Dakota. I'm excited for you guys to hear about these kids' projects. Every time we do this episode, I am so blown away with the high quality of youth in agriculture out here in Northwest North Dakota. Could not be happier. Some phenomenal, very polished kids for their ages. Really excited for you guys to listen to this episode. Enjoy the show.
Need reliable propane delivery? Look no further than Horizon Resources. If you see our trucks with our signature yellow fenders, you know there's another satisfied customer taken care of. If you see our trucks but we aren't coming to you, it's time to call Horizon Resources. Take advantage of our summer rates and be prepared for winter. Offer good until September 30th.
Horizon Resources, solutions for your success.
Gwen, Gavyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's do a little bit of an introduction for our listeners here, and we'll go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, what grade you are, what projects you're taking to the McKenzie County Fair this year, and any other activities you guys are active in 4-H.
Sounds good. My name is Gwen Signalness. I have 2 pigs that are going to be brought into the fair this year. I have a hog that's going to be sold on Friday, I guess. And then I have a breeding gilt that's going to be just strictly shown. Then she'll come back to my breeding operation at home. I exclusively livestock judge in 4-H, but I also am an officer on the McKenzie County Junior Leaders 4-H, so we kind of help run a lot of the events done here in Watford. We do tons of fundraisers and working with the little kids, so it's a lot of fun to see and do.
So you said you have your own breeding herd.
Yes.
So tell me about that. What have you got going on?
So around this time last year, March of last year, actually, I bought a gilt from one of my aunt's friends from Minnesota. She's a Duroc gilt, and a lot of people kind of looked at me sideways when I bought her because she was the runt of the litter. She's not very big, but I brought her to the fair that year, and she kind of came out on top as the grand champion breeding gilt. And I'm like, well, this is a pretty special pig. I got to keep her. I can't sell her.
Yeah.
And my aunt moved down to Oklahoma. She used to raise pigs, and she had this gilt that she bought from the same guy, coincidentally. And she's like, well, I'm moving. I can't take all of my pigs with me. So I ended up getting her from her. And August, my dad decided that we needed to try raising some 4-H pigs. So I AI'd for the first time in August, and that was a lot of fun. A crazy new experience.
Yeah.
Something that I never thought I'd be doing as a 16-year-old, kid in high school. Not many kids get to experience this, so it was very special for me to do it. So
yeah. So how'd farrowing go?
Farrowing went really good. She had 13 piglets. All of them made it through.
Wow.
They're all little black and white speckled spunky babies, so that was a lot of fun to see and do. A lot of new things, trying to relay my cattle and sheep knowledge because I grew up on a cattle operation. Then later on, we switched over to sheep and, raising 500 sheep. You could relay some information, but never did I think that I'd ever be raising pigs. So that was pretty hilarious.
That's awesome. So did you sell some of these to 4-Hers that are showing?
Yeah, that was my goal when I started this. I ultimately decided that regardless of what happened, I wanted to be my main goal to sell pigs to 4-H and FFA members across the state. And actually into Montana, I have 3 pigs that are going to be showed at a fair in Montana. And then I have 2 of my piglets that I sold that are going to be also shown at the McKenzie County Fair. My neighbors actually is the ones who bought them from us. So that was pretty cool to see. So, yeah.
Well, that'll be fun to see how your basically your whole litter stacks up.
It's really cool. So,
yeah. What other projects? Are you bringing any static exhibits to the fair?
Yes. So this year I am bringing 2 ceramics projects. So that's just like stuff I've thrown on the pottery wheel. So when you see that on like TikTok and people working with the clay, that's what I got the chance to do in my art class this year. So I have a plate and a bowl that I'm going to bring in and that I made all by myself by hand. And then I also have a sunflower that I made out of pine cones and corn husk, dried corn husk that we picked out of the field last year before winter. And we made them and they're big. They're huge, way bigger than what I thought they'd be. But
sure.
Yeah. And they hang on walls just as wall decorations. And yeah, those are the 2 projects I'm bringing this year. But yeah.
Perfect. Gavyn, how about you? What do you got going on? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Gavyn Darrington, and I'm going to be going into 9th grade this next school year. And at the fair, I'm going to be selling a market steer, and he's a red Angus steer. And then I also have 2 pigs. One I'm just showing, which is my barrow. And then the one I'm going to be selling is my gilt. And they're both Durocs. And we got them down in Iowa from John Hinker, like I said. And the things I do in 4-H, I do consumer decision making, which that is just like where we get like categories and you just have to give reasons on why someone would want a specific thing. And I also do livestock judging, like Gwen said as well. And then junior leaders, I am in that. I am a member at large, and we do a lot of fun things there. It's kind of fun to help like be the face of 4-H. This year to the fair, I usually end up bringing like 20 projects each year, so I have a lot. I probably won't name all of them, but one of my favorite ones I did, and I usually do this every year, is a diamond art, and it's very time consuming. It's really big, and it takes a lot of time, but I did a Jesus one this year, and then I also did dot art and a lot of baking projects. I haven't started any of those yet since the fair is like, we have like a week left, but I also did some sewing projects. I made a purse and a pillowcase, so I kind of did a lot, but it's really fun to do.
Right on. Well, so it sounds like we're going to be able to walk around the static exhibits and not find a table that Gavyn doesn't have something on. You're pretty busy over there for sure. So you went down to Iowa, you and your family, to pick out your pigs. Tell us about that experience. What was it like driving all the way to Iowa to go pick out these pigs? How old were they? That type of stuff.
Well, it's usually my dad that just goes to pick them out because it's usually during the school year. So he goes and we get to see the pigs beforehand to kind of see which ones we want. And my dad kind of picks up a lot for other people as well. But we get to pick which ones we want first, and it's really kind of fun to like see the pigs and when they are like smaller, and I mean they're not as nice when they're like smaller, but it's kind of fun to see that. And yeah, it's kind of fun to also pick them out when they get home. We get 6. My siblings each have 2. I have 3 siblings. We get a barrow and a gilt each, and so yeah.
So do you keep the gilt for breeding, or are they market hogs as well?
They're market, yeah. We obviously only get to sell 1 each, so we kind of pick. My siblings are both selling their barrows, but my gilt is nicer, so I'll be selling her.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then what do you do with the leftover one? Do you sell that one privately after the fair?
Yeah, my parents just sell them to like other people. They sell them to there, but we also do show in Williston. Sure. We show in the open class show, and for showmanship and market, but yeah.
Right on. Well, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, if you're listening to this podcast and you want some pork and Gavyn still has one, stop by and talk to her at the McKenzie County Fair. So awesome. Well, so tell us a little bit about the McKenzie County Fair. What's the schedule look like for you guys?
So it all starts out on Thursday after the parade. But before that all starts, we have live eval, which is that first day that we get to bring all of our animals out and show them off to the judge. Not really, it's just simply evaluating the animal itself. There's tons of livestock there every year. Yeah, it goes for a long time. It's a lot of fun though. Yeah. You got anything to add?
Not really. I mean, yeah, I think Ryan said there's about like 80 pigs coming to
Yeah.
the fair this year. And so it kind of does take a long time, but it's a fun day. It's very busy though.
Perfect. Well, the fair for you guys, a lot of the stuff kind of culminates on Friday. You guys have a big event you wanted to invite people to. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
Yeah. So Friday we have our livestock sale. So Thursday we get our ribbons, and then on Friday we get told where we're going to be at in the sale and kind of our sale order. The sale is our biggest event of the whole fair. You know, I've had buyers all the way from the other side of North Dakota come. So it's really important for people to come out and see this and, you know, see the youth and what they've done and what their hard work has been poured into. Because some kids don't have as many projects as like me and Gavyn do. I know plenty of kids who just have one or have like 6 market animals, and I mean, I couldn't do that myself, but yeah, it's very important. And do you want to talk about the barbecue?
Oh yeah, at 11 a.m. through 12:30 we have a buyer barbecue, and the buyers just get to come and, you know, eat some food, and then we have all the 4-H'ers kind of come walking around and telling people about their animals that possibly they could buy.
Right on. Well, I plan to be there for that. And then
Yeah.
following that that barbecue at 12:30, you guys have the big auction. What time does that start?
The big auction starts at 1 p.m. on Friday. It's a lot of fun. I'm not quite sure what the order is. Yeah,
I know they first start with like the grand champion and the reserve champion of every single species, and then they move on to like all the other ones.
Right on. And then they'll sell by species. But yeah, it's a great event. It's a lot of fun. If you want to get down there and support the youth of McKenzie County, it is a fantastic new facility. What do you guys think of your new fairgrounds? Now, this will be what, second year or third year in there?
Third year.
Third year, I think. Yeah.
I think we're really fortunate to have it because, I mean, it can get really hot during the fair. So, I mean, it's really nice to be able to be in the air conditioning especially for the animals as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, going from growing up showing at the old fairgrounds and seeing that and watching it grow and, you know, kind of worrying is like, do we have enough of space for all these exhibits? And, you know, and then going from, holy smokes, this is way more space than what I thought we needed. And watching our county grow and develop to be able to fill in all of those spots. And, you know, kind of a good thing of pushing to find more area for these livestock. You know, the Ag Expo itself is a big building, but, you know, when we get in 80 pigs and however, like a lot of steers, I'm not quite sure how many steer lots there are this year, but a lot of steers, lots of goats, lots of sheep and everything, getting it all in that building and just seeing everybody be able to come together in one area and see everybody is fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like a big space, but it fills up pretty quickly, which
it does.
It's great to see that much excitement and that many youth excited about participating in agriculture.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys
Thank
did a
you.
fantastic job today.
Thank you.
Ryan Odenbach, welcome to the show. You are new to the area. You have taken the role of the McKenzie County extension agent.
Yes. Natural resources. You bet.
Perfect. Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about yourself?
Yeah. I've been working in my career for quite a few years. I actually am from the Jamestown area. I grew up on a farm northwest of Jamestown, and it was a beef and cropping operation. So very familiar with beef operations and cow-calf operations. So, and then I worked for many years as a project manager for the soil conservation districts and in Jamestown. So, And then my wife and I decided let's try our hand out in Wofford City area and out west, and we've enjoyed it ever since. We moved out here in 2018, and this job opened up, and I was excited to try my hand. It was something I was familiar with, working with other extension personnel. So yeah.
So how's it been getting back into this side of things and getting into the extension side? So October, you would have joined right before all the livestock judging seasons and everything. So how did that go?
Great. As you've already talked to a couple of our top livestock judges, and we had a great season. And we had about 30 kids involved in livestock judging, which was awesome. They all continually showed up for practices every week, and we had some great contests, culminating in the state contest at the beginning of March and Wofford City.
I was gonna say hosted at the McKenzie County Ag Expo building.
That's right. It's pretty convenient for us to not to have to drive I guess across the state or anything like that. So yeah, it was great. It was, and of course it's a wonderful facility. So and there was really good improvement. We have some great coaches, Justin Dahl, Brandon Bradford, Chris Kubalder, and I threw my hand in there a little bit too. So it was really good.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. So you guys have your first county fair coming up. Obviously not the first one for McKenzie County, so most of the parents will be able to help guide you through, and you have a great staff down there. So
absolutely.
But tell us a little bit about the timeline for the first county fair and what's coming up and how people can get down there and participate and take it in.
Yeah, we of course. As we mentioned, it's in the new facility there. It'll be our third year in the County Ag Expo building, which is right off of Highway 85 on the bypass outside of Wofford City. So and it's a beautiful facility. And it'll start. We have a fair cleanup day, going on Monday, June 16th, and then we roll right into on Tuesday in the afternoon. We have the static and animal interviews. So static judging and all the projects, static projects being brought in. And then on Wednesday, we start the full scale livestock show. So there'll be the market entry and ultrasounds and the parent meetings, and then we'll have in the afternoon on Wednesday, we'll have the poultry and rabbit small animal judging, pet judging as well. And then we'll wrap that up with the Farm Bureau a picnic and annual meeting. So and then a draft horse contest after that. So yeah,
awesome.
It's on Wednesday, and
a busy day.
Yeah, every day. So every day is going to be a busy day. Yeah. I know. I've of course, as I mentioned elsewhere, I've had my kids and myself have been I was involved in 4-H and livestock. It was 10 years myself when I was growing up, and then my kids have been involved and now they're all growing up. So yeah. So and we just had our first grandson. So we love getting involved in the fair. And so that Thursday we'll have the livestock show day, and where all the market classes and the other classes will be judged. And after that we'll have the parade and ranch rodeo that night. Friday, of course, is the big day with the livestock sale. That'll have, as the kids mentioned, it'll be the barbecue social going on at noon that day, 11 o'clock to noon. And then at 1 o'clock we'll have the regular livestock sale. So, and we have some massive classes in livestock, bigger than I've ever been involved with. I grew up in Stutsman County. I thought we had a lot of livestock. Wow, this is this is a lot of livestock out here.
Well, like the girls said, it's been something. The building looked big. I don't think there's going to be an empty pen this year.
Oh.
So you got some of the numbers. I know you're kind of pulling those. Why don't you tell us some of the numbers down there?
Well, we have beef classes registered right now. We have 102 beef classes with 86 of market steers involved in the show and in the fair. We have 80 swine. So with a lot of that, over 70 market animals in that show. And then we have 54 sheep entries. We have 44 goat entries. And then 34 small animal entries, which includes about 20 poultry and 14 rabbits. So it's a pretty big show.
That's a very big show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do a little bit of judging for county fairs, and there are not very many county fairs that size.
No.
Yeah.
It's
like,
big.
yeah. Like I said with the girls, it's really exciting to see that much excitement from the youth of McKenzie County and wanting to get their hands dirty and get out there and participate, because it is a lot of work. So
Yes.
it's
And
fun to see.
And just speaking of kids involved in 4-H down there, and it's been such a growth in that as well, and it's very pleasing to see. We have over 300 4-H members now in McKenzie County, which is a very big number. Yeah, and it's awesome, and it keeps growing. We have new families come in all the time, so
Yeah.
it's really fun to see.
It's a great organization, great programming. McKenzie County does a phenomenal job with their 4-H programming. And yeah, I've had the pleasure of meeting a few of the club leaders down there, top
Yes.
notch.
Much.
Yeah, so it's a phenomenal job led by phenomenal people down there. So very, very exciting to see that much interest in keeping everything alive down there.
Absolutely. Yes, I think the program continues to grow, and as you mentioned, there are absolutely some top-notch folks involved as 4-H leaders and leaders in the 4-H community. So it's excellent program.
So we talked a lot about the livestock exhibits. Let's talk a little bit about the static exhibits. Do you know roughly how many static exhibits there's going to be this year?
Honestly, that number I'm not exactly sure. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
As Gavyn mentioned, there are quite a few static exhibits, and yeah, that'll be a big day. They separated out the 2 days with livestock and with the static exhibits for good reason, because there are so many static exhibits, and it gets to be a very busy day. So that Tuesday is going to have a lot of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy 2 days because the livestock show is going to be a long show. And I already sympathize with that judge. I can imagine how late that's going to run. And the static exhibit day is going to be busy too. Now, thankfully, you're able to split that up a bunch. You have a bunch of judges coming down for that. So,
Yes, we do.
so that's great to see. And yeah, I encourage everyone to get out there and check it out. Enjoy that brand new facility down there. It's a wonderful facility, and we're so fortunate to have that out in this area.
Absolutely. It houses a lot of events, and rightly so.
Yeah.
It's magnificent to be a part of and to be involved in. So yeah.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Did you have anything else? Any final plugs for the fair?
I will just say we certainly appreciate everybody being involved in this. We appreciate all of our buyers that are involved in the livestock sale, all of our sponsors, and of course we mentioned that we appreciate all the volunteer hours that go into putting on an event like this.
Yeah,
it's an amazing amount.
Yeah,
and by far, I get paid some, but people, there's so many that contribute so much time through their volunteer hours.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing to see. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you down there here at the McKenzie County Ag Expo for the McKenzie County Fair.
Yes, we look forward to seeing you.
The Ferguson girls from over by Tioga are here to talk about their 4-H projects for the year. So we're going to go around the table and introduce yourselves. And Abagail, let's start with you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the projects you've got coming up for the fair and any other involvement that you have with 4-H throughout the year.
So I'm Abagail Ferguson. I'm going into my junior year of high school. I show a sheep and a steer. My sheep is Mad-Eye Moody from Harry Potter, and my steer is Sirius Black from Harry Potter. I do archery throughout the year, and we just had state on Saturday, and then I also do livestock judging.
How did state archery go?
Good. I took second in the Masters division, and so.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And then what other projects are you taking to the fair this year?
I'm taking a bunch of static projects. I'm making this really cool mirror, and then some leather working projects. I made a hat with the Woodbury family in Ross, and it's really cool. And some baked goods.
Right on.
Yeah.
So what kind of baked goods are you taking? Do you know yet?
Probably some cookies and jelly.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Harper, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
I'm Harper Ferguson. I'm going into my freshman year. I'm bringing a steer and a sheep to the fair. My sheep is Willie and my steer is Joey. And then I'm just taking a cutting board, diamond dart, and some leather crafts.
So is this one of those nice hardwood cutting boards that your dad makes? One of those? Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Right on. They're beautiful pieces. I encourage you guys to stop by and check those out in the static exhibits. So the static exhibit area is the curling building, and that's where the pop shop also is. So stop in and see these youngsters and the projects there. So tell me a little bit more about what you do in 4-H throughout the rest of the year.
So I do livestock judging and archery.
Livestock judging and archery. Perfect. How was the livestock judging year for you?
It's really fun.
Yeah. Is that your one of your favorite events? Or,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Right on. Well, you've got a great eye. You guys always do really well at the county fair. So it's really fun to watch all the hard work that you guys put in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Audrey down at the end. How are you doing?
Good.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Audrey Ferguson, and I am showing in the county fair this year.
Mm-hmm.
For some of my projects, I am showing a baby blanket. I'm showing maybe some leather work, a diamond dart, and this hat as well. I also made with the Woodbury family in Ross.
Right on. And do you have any livestock exhibits that you're bringing to the fair too?
Yeah, I have a steer and a sheep, and my steer's name is Bob Ross.
Okay.
And my sheep's name is Charlie.
Gotcha. So how'd you pick the name Bob Ross?
Me and my friend, we were sitting on the bus going to school, and I was like, hey, I'm getting my steer this weekend. And then she's like, I'm going to pick a name for you. And she picked Bob Ross. So.
Nice. Well, that's pretty good. Have you watched Bob Ross's painting show before?
No, but I know I've heard about him.
Sure. Well, you'll have to watch it sometime. It's pretty entertaining. I could see you painting some happy trees around your steer.
Yeah.
So you've got all those other projects. Are you involved? Did you do livestock judging this last year too? And archery?
Yep.
You were also at state archery, I heard.
I placed second.
Nice. Congratulations as well to you.
Thank you.
So you guys have the big county fair coming up. When is the county fair? Do you guys know?
It is the last week in June.
Last week in June. Okay. So if people want to come watch your show, they can come up and watch the shows throughout. And then the fair, the livestock portion of the fair kind of culminates on Friday. Why don't you tell us about that?
So in the morning, we have our round robin for showmanship, which is really fun to watch.
Yeah.
So anybody who wants to watch
What
it.
is round robin? Why don't you explain that a little bit?
So it's a combination of horse showmanship, pig, goat, lamb, and beef showmanship. I think I got all of them right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you win in your division from Thursday from the show in showmanship, you get to advance to the round robin where you show all of the animals. You have your 3 divisions, and you just get to show all the animals, and it's really fun.
Gotcha. So yeah, they take turns. You guys rotate and show them all. So it is a neat event to get to watch. And they announce the winner of that later that day, I believe, right?
Yep.
And so when they're announcing that winner of the round robin, what else is going on at that time?
It's the sale, I believe, right?
Yep.
The sale is on June 27th. It's a Friday, at 3:00 p.m. There's the buyer social at 2 with the dinner afterwards. And the dinner is really good. We have donated beef, lamb, goat, and pork, right?
Yep.
And we like cook it and then we get to serve it, and it's really tasty.
Yeah. It was my first time ever having goat, and I liked it more than I expected to. It was pretty good.
I've heard that answer from a lot of people about the goat.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about what the auction is.
So the auction is a really great way to fill your freezers with locally grown animals. It's a great way to help support our 4-H youth and to show your support for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at what the cost of beef is, if you go to a local retailer versus coming here and supporting the 4-H programs and supporting the youth of Williams County, there are some not only great opportunities to fill at market cost or below, but you also get to support these youth that are active agricultural participants. And it's one of my favorite events throughout the year. I will certainly be there bidding and helping out with the auction as well. So I hope to see everybody there. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We look forward to seeing you guys and your animals the last week in June at the Williams County or Upper Missouri Valley Fair.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you guys.
Bailey Hokanson and Kelly Leo, welcome. Welcome to the show. You guys are here to also talk about the Upper Missouri Valley Fair coming up here in June. Bailey, let's start with you. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what kind of projects you've got for the year?
I'm Bailey, and this year I'm bringing 2 beef projects and 5 swine projects.
Wow.
I have 2 steers. Their names are Buck and Blaze. And then I have 3 York pigs that I actually raised myself. Their names are George, Jerry, and Elaine, and my sister S. Kramer from Seinfeld. And then I got these 2 little spicy Durocs. One's name is Spice and the other is Nutmeg. And then I have a bunch of statics. I have a couple wood projects, wood art, and then my preservation projects. Jellies. I brought some peaches in, and I don't know if I'm gonna get my quilt done. Maybe it'll be there.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So I just want to comment on what'd you say your steers' names were again?
Buck and Blaze.
So the Hokanson girls, I always love the names here because we've got Buck. A couple years ago we had Jumper. Are you guys feeding these things jumping beans or what's going on up there?
So my sister had a calf a couple years ago, and he literally acted like a goat.
Yeah.
He would just stand on top of waters and jump around all the time. And then the next year she got the calf from the same mom, and it was the same exact way. Named him Hops.
Yep.
And then this year, last year I had a calf who's blonde, so his name was Blondie, and this one's another buckskin, so can't go with the same name, so you gotta go with something close. So Buck.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of projects. So you've been busy. Now, I do want to talk to you also. You've been actively raising your own pigs, which you mentioned. So how's that project been going?
All right.
It's been an adventure?
It's been an adventure.
Okay.
I ferreted out 2 gilts in December, and I ended up getting 4 live pigs weaned.
Okay.
And me and my sister will be showing them this year. And then the week after our fair, I'll be ferreting out 3 more.
Oh, wow. So you'll be really busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll be weaned by the state fair.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, that's exciting. So what's your goal with those? Are you going to keep those for shows, or are you going to sell them to local people looking for meat, or what's your plan?
My summer litters will be butcher hogs, and my litters that I get from the winter will be ready for show. They'll be my show litters that I'll show myself and me and my sister, and then to other kids who would like the opportunity.
Gotcha. So if somebody's interested in getting one of those butcher hogs this fall, how do they get in touch with you?
Me or my mom's number.
Perfect. Right on. So yeah, reach out to the Hokanson family, stop by and see them at the county fair. That's probably the best way. and get on Bailey's list. It will be a list. I've seen the pigs that Bailey has been raising, and she's doing a fantastic job up there. She should be very proud of what she's doing up there. I know I've really enjoyed watching it, and I'm definitely a cheerleader for what you're doing up there, Bailey. So you're doing a great job. Stop by and meet Bailey at the county fair. There will be a wait list for that pork, so I would get on it. So show up early and let her know. So Kelly, welcome. This is, I'd say it's your busy season, but I have yet to find an off season for you. But this is probably one of the peak busiest weeks coming up for you, would you say?
Yes. I have farm safety camp this week, so that's a busy week for us as well. And we'll kick that off tomorrow. But yep, we're really planning for fair. We typically go down and help a little bit with McKenzie County Fair, just judging and assisting wherever. But then it's kind of full bore into our fair. We will have our first cleanup setup day this Saturday. Do our calorum testing for chickens or poultry this Saturday as well. And then McKenzie County Fair is next week, and our horse show is actually Friday of their fair. So
Sure.
On the 20th, and we'll that's a busy day for us. We have a lot of kids in horse this year, a lot of young members, super excited. We have 2 or 3 volunteer project leaders on that. It's really going well. I'm excited. And then we do our final cleanup day on the 21st. So yeah, it's fair season.
Yeah. So Friday the 20th is the horse show. That's going to kick off the Upper Missouri Valley Fair. But there won't be, there's no ticket people there at the gates yet. So if you want to come watch the show, the horse show, come on out to the fairgrounds. Where does that show take place?
Sure. We're down on the Saddle Club grounds and the rodeo grounds there. And we have usually a decent crowd, which is really fun. And we have a lot of really talented kids. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see more English equitation and jumping this year, which is, we got kind of started last year and the kids really love it. So, and then of course we'll have the normal horsemanship and showmanship patterns. And then there'll be the speed events right at the end. And so a lot of our kids qualify to go to state. So I'm pretty excited to see, we've got a lot of young kids, and I think the program is growing. Wonderful volunteer leaders that are really helping us out. So
awesome. So it starts there, and then the static exhibits roll in when?
So those static exhibits will come in Monday, the 23rd, and we're going to actually do our judging during the day this year. We've typically done that from 5 to 8 in the evening, but boy, it sure gets to be a long day, and it's kind of tough for some of the families that are trying to get livestock in the next morning. So we're going to go ahead and do that from 1 to 4 this year. We'll get our judges in. We have about 51 or 52 volunteer judges from the community. So we couldn't make this happen for the kids without those volunteers. So I just want to pre-thank all of them for their time, because it's a big commitment. It's a 3-hour commitment out of their day. And some of them either take time off work, or sometimes their employers are good and let them use that as a community service. But it's sure wonderful to have all of the help from the community. And we'll have about 700 or 800 static exhibits again. We're down a little bit. We'd love to see that number back up over 1,000. We typically range from anywhere from 800 to 1,200 projects indoors. So, but it kind of waxes and wanes. We'll have one year where it's really big, and the next year is not quite so big. So, but we still have a lot of projects and really great things these kiddos are doing. There's no doubt about that. There's some phenomenal projects in our static exhibits.
I am always amazed. You come in there and you see everything as small as a Lego project or a jar of preserves, up to the Brunel family always seems to bring in something that needs to be unloaded with a payloader or a forklift. So all shapes and sizes. The quality is fantastic. And so, come check it out. Check out the hard work that these kids are putting in. It's not a 1-week fair. 1 week is what the community sees. But these kids have been working on these projects for months. Bailey talking about the breeding decisions, those go back even farther. So it's a phenomenal event. So static exhibits move in on Monday, Tuesday, or the livestock move in Tuesday, excuse me. So then once the livestock are in, when do the shows start?
Sure. Well, we weigh everything in Tuesday morning, and we actually start our small project shows that afternoon. So we will show our cat show at 3:30 in the afternoon, and then our dog show at 5. Our dog program was huge this year. We had 30 youth in the dog program. We are the only one in the state that actually functions as a true dog show. So we'll kick that off with obedience and we'll do some showmanship as well. And then we have agility this year, and I think we've got about 8 or 10 kids in agility. So we've been really thankful to be able to do that. We just bought some small, not high quality agility equipment for the kids to get started, but they're doing really well with it, and it's a lot of fun. Bailey's been one of our youth that has stayed with that program for 5 years, I believe, and she is past anything I can teach her. So she's doing a lot of teaching on her own now. But so we'll start with that, and we'll have that a little agility demonstration, and actually they'll be judged this year. So
Bailey, talk to me a little bit about that program then. So what have you learned through it, and what kind of instructions are you teaching the dogs? All that type of stuff.
So when you start out in the program, it's more of a basic obedience, and Jasper's not very good at obedience. My dog, that's not his strong suit, but we made it through. And then you just keep moving up through the levels of pre-novice, novice, and then graduate novice. Yep. And then once you're there, you can do a lot more off-leash training. And once you're at that stage, you can pretty easily move into agility. And that's the fun part. Yeah. You get to run around, put them through tunnels and jumps, and you can get them to spin. That's definitely the fun part.
So has that been your favorite part so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So the dog show. So if people want to come watch that, it sounds like that'll be pretty entertaining.
Yep. That's Tuesday, and that kind of kicks off our shows. And then Wednesday morning, of course, we start right off with the swine projects, because we want to get those buggers out there and showed when it's nice and cool. We have Jamie Geyer coming back this year. She was our judge last year, just phenomenal, was so good with the kids. And I immediately asked her, please come back. I said, we just loved you. And she was so helpful. She really worked with the kids out there and just said, here are some things, and just was really dug in, and she was super hands-on. So we'll do swine, then sheep, and then market goat. And then right after that is our poultry and rabbit show. Once again, tons of poultry this year. Not as many rabbits. I think there's only 5, but we still have a lot of poultry this year. So that'll be good. And this all takes place in the big Agra building where the hockey ring is. Actually, we convert that to a show ring for a week. And then Thursday, we'll kick off with our breeding beef show. And we do have a lot of heifers, and we have about 5 or 6 cow-calf pairs this year. So more breeding beef than we've had for a while. We'll actually have a couple classes of heifers. We're going to split them by age since we have enough to do that this year. And then we're going to move right into our dairy goats and dairy. We have one dairy cow coming, I think. We're not a big dairy area, so it's kind of fun when we have at least one. And then quite a few dairy goats, though. And then after lunch, about 1 o'clock, we'll get rolling on our market beef. That's obviously our biggest show, although I think swine is going to rival that here soon. We've got more pigs this year than we've had in a very long time. And then once we're done with market beef that night, we'll have our big family barbecue. So that'll be nice. Everybody sits down and gets together and visits, and we finally get a chance to take a breath.
The pressure of the show is mostly done. We have round robin the next day. And then the last thing that's kind of the 4-H responsibility. Bailey, why don't you tell us about that last event that happens Friday afternoon?
Well, the last event on Friday afternoon is our sale. At 2 o'clock, we have the buyer's social, and at 3, the sale begins, and then following the sale is our buyer's dinner. So
awesome. So get out there, enjoy the auction, enjoy the food, everything. It is so fun. If you've never been to a livestock auction, you've got to come just to experience it. But come check out all the hard work that these kids have put in for the year, and show your appreciation. And even if you're not bidding, even if you just come to watch the auction, it is still a lot of fun.
Don't want to forget on Saturday too, Bailey's mom helps with this. We have the North Prairie Stock Show.
Yes.
And that is well attended, and we usually have a great show. They do so much behind the scenes to put that on. Beth and Charette and Aaron Johnson, I believe, is still helping with that too. So it's a great committee that works on that, and it gives these kids a second chance to show in the same week. So under a different judge, and we've got Tyler Krolichek out of Bismarck coming to judge that show. And he's an old hand at judging, and he actually helped with our judging team a little this year. So I want to thank him for spending his time as well. That'll be a great event. So.
Right on. Well, this is it's a very fun week. There's going to be A lot of excitement around the Upper Missouri Valley Fairgrounds. I encourage everybody to get up there. Any last things that you guys want to tell people about for the fair?
Just come on out. I mean, I can't say enough about this group of 4-H kids. We have wonderful families here. They work really hard all year. And like you say, a lot of people think it's just a few days, but it isn't. It's a year-round commitment, and these kids work hard all year in 4-H, and this is their way to display what they've done. So, and we're always so proud of them, and we couldn't do it without all the volunteers too. So I want to thank those folks for helping us for the shows and making sure everything runs smooth. So
absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. Best of luck at the Upper Missouri Valley Fair, and I look forward to seeing you guys up there.
Thank you for tuning in to On the Horizon. If our conversation today sparked your interest, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Stay connected by following @Horizon Resources Co-op on Facebook and Instagram, and explore the world of agriculture with us. We're excited to continue bringing you real conversations with Horizon Resources industry partners, member owners, and employees, discovering more about your local neighbors and community friends. Until next time, keep looking towards the horizon.
Horizon Resources, solutions for your success.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not to be used or considered as an offer or a solicitation to buy or sell commodities. Horizon Resources does not make any representation, warranty, or guarantee as to the completeness, accuracy, timeliness, or suitability of any information contained within any part of this podcast. Horizon Resources does not accept any liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use or reliance on such information. Whilst the information provided has been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, Horizon Resources does not attest to its accuracy or completeness. Horizon Resources reserves the right to change any source without restriction or notice. The information herein is indicative only and is subject to change.